Appreciate you being here. Derek just told me nobody cares really how practice went, and so I'll just kind of save that. So it's going to show up. We'll show up how practice went, on Saturday, and that's I'm good with that. You save a little bit of time in the review, but I think our guys, they understand what we need to do. I think there's, right now a lot of emotion to the process, and that's something that we're continuing to pour into them, understanding the action that we have, in the way that we deal with either good performances at time or times where it's substandard to our expectation, and but we've got to enjoy the journey for improvement, and for things to show up on Saturday night, that's it takes a lot of work, and we've got to do that in the meeting room. We got to do that in all the areas, around, before we even get out there on the field, and then obviously that's got to look a certain way. But we've got to build towards this, towards the Saturday night, and I've got a lot of belief in what will show up. But we'll see Saturday night.
Our first question will be Ira.
No. Sorry. I didn't know if we had. It's Wednesday. I forgot. I haven't been here the last couple days.
That's all right. Sometimes people make mistakes.
We talked to Justin Cryer yesterday, and he seemed, we talked about the emotions, like you could feel like an anger about him maybe 3 or 4 days after the game. Are the emotions helpful like at this point, or how do you approach that with guys? I'm sure there's a lot of different emotions. Yeah, no, I mean, there's everybody handles things different ways. What I desire for these guys is, as you work through your emotions, nobody's happy. Like, there's nobody just joyful for where we are and what's happened, but it's about being able to be in control of your emotions and stay focused on your process of improvement, and for the things where there were either areas of failure or areas of substandard play or results, then man, we have to get that fixed. And I want guys to have emotion because they care. And Justin is he's a remarkable young man. I was talking to my office last night. He actually came up and got a chance to visit with him some, and I'm grateful I get to coach somebody that cares as much as he does. And you see it, you feel it. Now, I mean, and he feels, we have our players take responsibility for what happens. Our coaches take responsibility for what happens. This is not a team that's just going through the motions in it. I mean, nobody wants to come up short. Nobody wants to play bad. There's a lot of work and investment, and that's what I'm looking for. And then but we get the opportunity to go play the game. I mean, it's got to show up a certain way. And we've seen groups that have had really good games, and that followed up with not so good games. And we've got to stay consistent with all the emotions, the highs and the lows of still our growth and our response to the situations, our you're seeing an offense, defense, and special teams unit play together to go accomplish what needs to be accomplished to win. And that's where I am grateful for the emotion that this team has, and I've got a lot of it. And I've got a lot of with our staff, with our with our players. I mean, I want the absolute best from all of us, and we're going to push for that. But it's also being able to control those emotions where you're not losing focus just because of a feeling on the actual task that needs to get done as well.
Liam, kind of a follow-up to that last part. How do you get these guys to channel that emotion into performance, to edge, into, you've used the word desperation before on the field, but also kind of keep them clear-headed so they're not maybe overdoing it with the emotions? Yeah, I mean, it's you've got to, I think when you train that way, when it's a daily, when you can get yourself, I'd say in your preparation emotional, like that's where you bring that edge, you bring the desperation, you bring all of that to what you can control today. Then when you find yourself in the game, in the moment, it builds the confidence of what's there, because it's not too big for you, or you're not feeling like you got to be somebody different because you've just prepared at that level throughout the course of a week, throughout the course of a year, throughout your career. And the best players that I've been around, they trained a certain way with a certain
urgency for their improvement, and then when they got on the field, the game was slower. And whenever something bad happened to them in the game, they knew how to pick themselves up and just go get better and respond to it because of the way that they had been coached, allowed themselves to be coached. Nobody, like I said, nobody likes losing. Nobody likes being having that against you. Nobody likes people talking bad about you. It's not something that people enjoy that occurs. But at the end of the day, all of that won't matter as long as you keep controlling what you can control, go get better, and improve the results through you being the best that you can be. And I think that's something that for 18 and 22-year-olds, and even for people that are older, I mean, it's one of the great balancing acts of how you bring that, and that's what we try to do in our preparation.
Brennan, follow-up to the follow-up.
3 follow-ups.
Impressive. I guess it's more big picture. Like during your time here, when you guys have won, it's been in bunches generally, and when it's losses have been in streaks. You give yourself any thought, like retrospectively, why that could be? Yeah, I mean, you do. I mean, you evaluate all those things, and are there similar traits of why that has occurred? Is it something that that's consistently showing up? And I think when you look at a lot of these games, I mean, there are different things. Whether it's a side of the ball, whether it's position, whether it's the way things unfold, just throughout that set of games. And I do think that in college football now, I mean, you see more and more of it because these just the. Let's say you go to the pressures or the the awareness or all of the attention that gets put on it. That there's a lot of press at times, and I say press, like guys just in that moment, whether it's just a little bit of hesitation, tension, something that rather than just going, and I just got done talking to the guys about it, having fun going and playing the game. Like look, there's gonna be good plays and bad plays throughout the course of the game, and make sure you are enjoying every bit of it throughout. And you don't get caught up looking at the scoreboard. Don't get caught up on hey, my record is this right now, and I've done this, or I've had this amount of success. You just stay focused on that next thing that you can control. And if we can do the next right thing and continue to get better, man, you got that's how you can stay away from what I think things building upon itself.
Chris, Monday you spoke as though you thought Randy Pittman was trending towards playing. Is that still the case? And also, pass catching group, do you feel confident you're going to have a few of those guys back in the mix?
Yeah, I think we will. I think obviously we'll put out the 11 o'clock,
Yes, sir.
the 11 p.m. availability report will be there for you tomorrow. So, no, but I feel good how things are trending. But there's still some things that'll be up in there right now.
Matt?
I think Juice yesterday brought up the 2022 team, how pretty similar, start off well, then go on a little skid. Is that kind of something you're bringing up to them, or something you're going back and looking at, like rattle off some straight after? Like
Yeah, I mean, it was. If I are they aware of that? Yes. I mean, because I've also been a part of it, and I know what it looks like, and for these guys, for them and some of the external things, because it's not just it's like, oh well, social media or this. No, I mean you got family members. Everybody's got an opinion. Like there's teammates to teammates have opinions of things. For us, it's still about let's make sure we just go and respond the way that we're capable of responding. And I've seen, and that's a prime example of in 22. I mean, weren't great expectations. There probably weren't a whole lot of people that were happy with where the program was, going into the year. And then we beat LSU, and boy, it was exciting. And then you win some games to start the season, and you lose 3 straight to, probably a couple of them that it was, coin flip type games. Some that we had every opportunity to win, and you're not happy in that moment. But we had a team that came together, and they made the choice that hey, block all that out. Let's just go control what we can control. Let's do what we need to do, and they did that. And then 19 straight games later, we still were winning, and that was something that was a part of that process, and that was on the flip side of it. We've seen how that can grow where even after a couple of big wins, we weren't affected by the big wins. We're affected about the true journey of just trying to be the best we can be. So,
we've been a part of it on both ends, and I think guys are aware. And yes, I do know what it looks like, and I do know what it takes for that to occur. And I've got a lot of confidence that it will.
Peter? Coach, 2 for 1.
Wow, this is your first 2 for 1. Congratulations. Welcome to the party.
In regards to Stanford, knowing that they're 2 and 4, but is there anything that kind of stands out with them? And then having to face a respectable NFL coach in Frank Wright, like you see a difference when facing down here.
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of respect for Coach Wright. I mean, the job that they're doing. Obviously, it's a tough situation to come into. Just there, before the season. But you see a team that's well coached schematically. Putting the guys in the best position. They've got both their wins have been at home. So that's something that they've played. They've played well there with their opportunities and what they've done. But it's. We got to have a great plan because of the different things we're going to see. And they do a lot defensively, a lot of different pressures, a lot of different fronts. Offensively, whether it's in the gun, whether it's under center, a lot of motion movement, things that we've got to make sure that our communication, some of the elements that we talked about coming out of the last game, that's better. And, seeing guys cut it loose and go, have fun playing the game. And, we've got a trip in front of us, and you got all the circumstances that are surrounding the kickoff tie, all that stuff. But that matters. I mean, you go and you prepare the best that you can, and you go have fun playing the game.
We have time for a couple more. Brendan?
Is the plan for next week to still move in to the football facility? Will it be fully moved in partially? What's the plan on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's that we have a plan of transition, so I think we're right on track with what that needs to be.
Coach White's, this is 6 games in, but it's still first season for the staff, a lot of these guys on the defensive staff. Do you get the sense that they're still figuring out, like, who does what, who handles what situations?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's, I mean, I think for sure there is. And when you look at this team, especially defensively, we're playing a lot of, either some guys that don't have as much experience or just true, young players. I mean, we got 4, true freshmen that are, getting significant snaps, and are guys that, I'm very excited about what it's going to be, but still kind of get a sense of, hey, these are things they do really well. These are things that we can be able to, adapt, adjust with. You got some new faces that have come in. Guys are in different roles. When you look at our secondary, I mean, it's got some, there is some, inexperience coming into the season, and you've seen some guys that have really, elevated. I think Jerome Rawls has played at a very high level, throughout this year. You've seen flashes of guys. Earl has really taken some positive, steps just, overall in what we're doing, but still trying to position guys, with what they do best. And, and to get 11 guys playing as one, with that speed, with that confidence, and, it is a process at times. And, you look offensively, it's a lot of the same, but we got, some experienced guys that, have done it different places. And I think, Gus and the staff have done a wonderful job of being able to, kind of, rapidly kind of accelerate that process, and we're going through that in all phases. And so, but Tony, he's doing a great job with how he's trying to connect with and utilize the experiences that we have, and I'm looking forward to the continued growth on that side of the ball for what we can be.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
I believe Mandrell